What up, yo? Hopefully this stream is live and hopefully it's here. Guys, it's the second day of the $1 7-day challenge. And here's the deal, okay? If you guys want to take the challenge, you're gonna get access to 5 different softwares for $1. And our goal is to, over these next 7 days, we're gonna teach you how to use them and so that you can go out there and create more, obviously more than the dollar and make a profit out of it. So that is what we're gonna get into. Today specifically, we are going to talk about how to get your bot to actually accept payments and how to do it dynamically. Because right now, there's actually 2 options, or there's a couple of options that you can do. You can just direct them off to a website and you can have them pay on like a landing page or a ClickFunnels page or like a PayPal page or something like that. There is that option. But then the other option and the alternative, right, is to be able to use the native platform, right, or the native buy button. And Chatfuel has actually had this for a really long time. And ManyCrash, they actually just announced that they're going to be allowing everybody to be able to accept payments. Now, here's the problem with that, though, okay? Number one problem is that you cannot sell digital products with that, all right? That's the number one thing, is that you cannot sell digital products on ManyCrash's payment stuff. So if you're selling internet, courses, if you're selling drop shipping, so I mean, it says that you can't sell digital products through the native buy button. So that's the number one issue. Second thing is that you can't actually, what you can't do is you can't create like dynamic products. And what I mean by that is that you are only allowed to have a static kind of product, right? You can only have one price. And what that means is that you can't have someone change the price. You can't have someone tell you how much they want to pay you. Unfortunately, what you have to do is you have to create all of the different possibilities and all of the different variations of all the ways in which people can pay you in order to actually do that. And so what we have figured out is how we can actually help you to be able to create a bot that will accept payments and kind of do it in a way that's pretty dynamic. So let's see. I want to see if anybody is, can you guys hear me at all? I wonder if the audio is coming through. Okay, let's see. All right, let me promote John over here. So I'm going to promote and bring him in. Okay, so let's talk about that. And I just kind of want to show you a little bit of a demo as we get started here. So I'm going to hop in. I'm going to share my screen. So
Hector, what's up, man?
Show you the host so that I think you can. Well, can you hear me, John? Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you always mess up every time you turn my mic on.
It always screws it up, dude. I don't know. PCs have a shitty way of doing it, but welcome back, my man. We're gonna focus on invoicing you today. Is that invoicing you and really creating payments within bots? I think that's something that ManyCrash just released the other day. They just said that will be able to. Everybody will be able to use their payment feature. But I was talking about some of the challenges with that. So I followed your instructions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I went through John's training on how to get this set up. He actually posted this in the group a couple of weeks ago. And part of the reason that both John and I are here is John's going to do the training, and then I'm going to do the actual questioning and learning here along with you guys. But I want to actually show you what we did is we allowed you to create what we call dynamic invoices. And basically what that allows you to do is to create basically create an invoice on the fly. So someone can tell you how much they want to pay you, and then you can actually come back with that invoice and let's see here. So create real invoice. That's what we want. And I want to show you how simple it can be and how easy it can be with some of these softwares. So let me just, okay, perfect. So let me pull this up and I'm going to bring it onto the screen here so that you guys can see everything. Boom, let's go here. And I guess if you guys want to test this and pay me, you guys can go to the Millennial Skills bot and actually pay me too, but you don't have to do that. We're going to do that here. And for you guys, so what this is going to allow is you guys to be able to take to your clients. And now instead of needing all these separate pages or all these separate services to be able to create or take payments for restaurants or gyms or really anybody who is, chiropractors, anybody who's being able, who's paying online, this stuff is going to be a game changer. So let's go over here, and I have it tested on invoice. So let's see here. Hopefully, okay. So it's going to ask us for our email, and you'll notice that this is actually going to fill in the email on the invoice so that when they pay it, it'll send them their receipt. And so the item that we're going to use for today is let's do live test, and then it'll say how much do you want to pay, and let's say I want to pay $1,000. Okay. Now what it's going to do is it's going to go and it's going to create an invoice through invoicing you, and it's actually going to come back and check it out. Okay, here's what was pretty cool is that it actually took that information that I just gave to it. So I just gave it test@test.com. I said live test, and I want to pay $1,000, and then I can actually take the payment right there. Now you'll notice that it opens up right within. It opens up right within in Messenger. And so it makes it really, really simple for you to be able to, I think, oh, so that's from HD Marketing Pro, so that makes sense. All right, so it makes it really easy to pay right here within Messenger without them having to leave the platform at all. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. John, do you want your video, or are you cool with no video?
It doesn't bother me either way, man. I mean, I don't have a cool panda hat or anything. I got like a pink towel I could put on my head, bro.
So I'm gonna hop in and I'm gonna see if if there's any questions, guys. If you guys have specifics about this stuff, throw those down there and let's talk about them. But this is something that we said we were going to do as part of our 7-day dollar challenge, so that you guys can learn about all these softwares without having to commit at the beginning, and then at the end you can figure out which ones you like, and you can do it from there. Let's see. Is Audric in the Zoom? Are you guys in the Zoom? Audric is in the Zoom. That's cool. No worries. Welcome, my man. So John, if you want to take us through some of this stuff, we're walking. There's a couple of components that people need. And what we did there, there is obviously the chatbot, and it's actually even easier.
So you got a big black box right in the center of your screen. There you go. That's out.
That did it. Yeah. Sorry about that. So you need a couple of components. You need your bot, which is built either on Chatfuel, or the interesting thing is that on ManyCrash, this system is even easier to do. But with Chatfuel,
that's correct. And I think that would be a good kind of dialogue to have, is just kind of correlate what's happening here versus what would be happening in ManyChat. So for both of these scenarios, Hector, all that's happening is you want to create a custom invoice for somebody. It's for a particular person. It's for a particular dollar amount. So to do that, you use the invoicing, use Zapier integration, and we need to send some data to Zapier. So with Chatfuel, you do that with the JSON API. You go into Zapier and you create you use the trigger as a webhook, and you choose the trigger to be a catch hook. Okay. Now Zapier gives you that URL that you see down there in the JSON API to catch the data. That is essentially the exact same thing that would happen if you went into ManyChat and you triggered the action. Trigger a Zap. All right. Exact same things are going to happen. Essentially from the invoicing you side, all we need to know is who is this invoice for? What's their name? What's their email? What are they buying? How much is it? Are you going to add a custom subscription for it? And just like you would manually fill out the invoice and invoicing you just let the Zapier integration do it. And then once it creates it, it returns the invoice back to you. It returns the URL back to you. And then essentially you deliver it to your user in the chatbot. Now, the one thing with The one different thing in Zapier, whenever you create a general invoice in Zapier than in Invoicing You, is if you create the general invoice in Zapier, we allow you to give us the Facebook Messenger ID and attach it essentially as a hidden field on the invoice, so that whenever that user pays that invoice, you can grab their Facebook Messenger ID, their PageScope ID, and you can deliver them a receipt or confirmation back in ManyChat or back in Chatfuel, so that you can unlock your course material, or you can do some lead scoring that they've paid you.
Yeah, so it's totally unfortunate side is that it's way easier to do because of the Zapier integrations and the way to that's easier on the many crash side. So
it's still pretty easy on Chatfuel though. I mean, it's still relatively easy to do on Chatfuel once you get the hang of it.
So let's talk about what we need to create first in order to accept payments. So the first thing that you're going to need is obviously your Invoicing You account, because that's where all of this at least starts. And these are all built on Stripe. Okay, so these are all built on not built on Stripe, built on top of Stripe. So you will need a Stripe account as well, but we might not cover that too much because a lot of times you guys already have that. So we've got a couple of things here. We can walk through Invoicing You a little bit. We mentioned yesterday that in order to get paid, obviously you need some sort of way to be able to process that payment. And I remember setting up my very first website to just accept payment was one of the most difficult things like out there. And so now with Invoicing You, it makes it really, really easy. Whereas if you want to get paid one time, you can go in here and create a one-time invoice. Or what we're going to play with today are these product invoices, where you can create a invoice that can be paid over and over again. So let's see here, John. I'm going to throw a use case at you. So I'm wondering if we have our shop here, right? That we are just kind of starting so that we can integrate stuff with really all the softwares that we're using to kind of show people. So I'm wondering here if there is a way that we can have people accept payment, or that we can create an option for someone to let's just create like an e-commerce product that if someone wanted to buy, right? Or let's create some templates. How about that? That if someone wanted to buy, they could do that. Could we show them how to do that and kind of show them all the steps that they'd need to run through in order to basically have a product, put it on their bot, and then connect payment through all the systems?
Yeah, sure. So there's, as you know, Hector, you caught just a few of my trainings in the past, man. As you know, bro, there's so many different ways to do things. So we can definitely show general things, how to generally do things, but there's so many different ways to do stuff. Let's say, for example, okay, first point in case, the easiest way whatsoever is you go into Invoicing You, you create a product invoice for item number 1. All right.
Let's say people are going to buy all of my bot agency demos. Let's say that. It's going to be $9. What about that? That's our product that will.
I think the price is too low, buddy.
Yeah, but we're just playing with it today. If people want to buy it, then that's on them. I don't want to sell anything. So we're gonna not our demos. They're just gonna get our links to the so they can play with. They're not gonna get templates, but they're gonna get a list of the demo bots or the links that we send to them. So essentially, they're lead magnets for us, and if they want to click them, they'll go into our bots. But let's just have a hypothetical product here that we're working with.
Okay, if it's hypothetical, you want to make it $9, that's fine. If it's hypothetical for me, I'm gonna make it like 9 million.
All right, so let's do.
Let's do 9, bro. Let's just do 9. 9's fine, man.
Let's do it. All right. Okay, so we would need to create the product invoice first, right? Is there any specifics here, just quantity? Or,
Correct. Just what are they purchasing here? This is pretty straightforward. What are they purchasing? How many are they getting? What the price is? So it's just all they're purchasing here.
And this right here will obviously you'll notice that it adjusts so you can create, if they want to buy 6 martinis, right, it's going to go up to $54. So John, I mean, are these softwares, right? I mean, can they put like normal businesses on, like if they went out and got a client that needed to accept payments, right, and they're a dry cleaners or something like that, and they wanted their to be able to process online, could they, by just essentially having the dry cleaner set up a Stripe account and creating a invoicing you type thing, could they essentially charge their process those payments right online and pay the business owner directly?
That is correct. That is totally correct. So yes, that's totally correct. Keep in mind, Hector, that I do all the sales for my company, and as a software development firm, we do over $500,000 worth of sales every year, and I would say 60% of that I collect in invoicing you. So it's what I use for my company to charge all my clients. So yes, you could essentially do that, no problem.
So you can also add other items on here, right? Which is great. What would be I'm trying to think, John, like, how do you see this being used a lot, whether multiple items here?
Well, think about it, Hector. I mean, for me, how is it used? All right. The typical project at Tier 5, we've got a project manager that's managing it. All right. We've got a developer that's working on it. We've got some quality guy that goes in and checks. Each one of those people have a different hourly rate. Each one of those people dedicate different amount of hours to the project every week. So let's say for an invoice that I just made earlier today, all right, 40 hours worth of project management for $50 an hour, 160 hours worth of software development for $30 an hour, and 20 hours worth of quality assurance for like $17 an hour. So those are 3 different line items right there.
Right. So here's your line items.
Let's say for you, Hector. All right. You get a new client.
Well, I'll tell you right now, we had a bot build, and that one was $1,000, and then there was an extra Facebook. This was like a kind of a basic build, but this is kind of what you're talking about, right? You have these different components.
Dude wants 5 hours of your time, Hector, to do some consulting from you. All right. He also wants to buy your real estate chatbot template. All right. He also wants to engage with you on, let's say, $500 a month Facebook ad spend. So you got a line item for 5 hours of consulting time at, you probably charge like $500 an hour or some shit for your consulting because you're such a genius whenever it comes to sales. You're going to charge him, let's say, $800 for your real estate template. That's your second line item. You're going to have a subscription, and you're going to charge him $500 a month for the Facebook ad spend on the subscription. So those are 3 different items on the invoice.
Great. And this will show up. This is exactly what's going to show up on the invoice. Okay, cool. So we can add more items, and then you can actually pull a subscription as well. So Monday
you'll be able to add multiple subscriptions to that as well. So Monday you can add 3 subscriptions if you want.
So this will pull right from Stripe. And Kevin asked on the stream, how do you set up your Stripe? So what you'll do is, yes. Oh, damn it, fucking A. I need to like delete this as soon as we. So you'll go in there and you will change that, Kevin, and that's where you'll put all of your stuff. So.
Hey, Hector, just so you know,
yes,
at any time, man, you can go in Stripe, you can go to the developer tools, and you can find your API key, and you can just regenerate the keys and come back in and put them right back in here, and everything will work just the same. But whatever keys that you just showed online that some asshole is going to freeze your video and copy them, that will no longer work. Because that's what you're worried about, and you can just go regenerate those keys anytime.
I'm trying to learn from you here, John. So Kevin, it's that simple. Go in there, settings, grab your keys from Stripe, throw them in there, and it's pretty simple. So good question though, because I think the setup is huge. What else are on here? So we excuse me.
Go back. You want to go back there though for a second?
Yes, we do.
All right, so let's go down some. Don't worry about all that. You already showed that. Let's go down some and let's check these hidden fields out. All right, so what these hidden fields are. These hidden fields allow you, so you know the big difference between a general invoice and a product invoice, right? The general invoice is for one particular person, your client. He's going to get that invoice link. He's going to pay it. That invoice is paid. It can never get paid again. A product invoice you can share on the internet. It can get paid 100 million times. Every time somebody goes to that product invoice, they got to put in their email address. They got to put in their credit card information. They hit pay and they get a receipt, but somebody can come right behind them and they can pay for another product invoice. All right. So essentially before, I built these softwares I've been building them for a long time. And when this bot craze came out, I started modifying them to have an edge on everybody. And that's one of the reasons I got so much money for my bot builds, is because no one else could do the stuff that my bots were doing, because I just went into the software that I had and made custom modifications so it would work perfectly with bots. And before, what I would have to do with ManyChat is on these product invoices, what I'd have to do with ManyChat is whenever somebody paid the product invoice, I would have to have the Zapier integration that's listening for a new product invoice being paid. So I would hear that, I would grab their email address, I would use a ManyChat action, I would go look the user up by that email address. If I could find them, I would then send them out some information, or I would set an attribute to true so that they could access my course material. And what I noticed is a lot of time that would fail because they would use a different email whenever they paid than what I had on file with them in the bot. So after they paid, I could never figure out in ManyChat, who is this person from my bot that just paid? So enter the custom fields. So I went in, made a modification so that you could essentially, from the bot, you could pass in these custom fields so that once they pay, and one of the custom fields can be MID, their messenger ID. So now from the bot, you can send them to this product ID URL. You can pass a custom field with their messenger ID. So now as soon as they pay, you don't have to look them up or anything. You already have their messenger ID. You can instantly send out a message to them through whatever chatbot platform. Now, on top of this, what else could you do? Affiliates, right? You could come in here and add another hidden field. Now, people come into your bot. Now, I have this working in one of my chatbots, by the way. So one of my chatbots, you can essentially type a keyword, become an affiliate. When you type that keyword, become an affiliate, I give you out an affiliate link, all right? It's just a link to my bot. The user clicks that link. Any user can click that link. Whenever they come into the bot, it says, hey, you were just referred here by Hector. Thanks for joining the bot. And then you, Hector, get a new message that says, hey, John Vaughn just joined the bot using your affiliate link. All right.
Hey, John, now can we? I think that would be super valuable for me to know how to do, so that I can teach people, because I know that there are tons of internet marketers who want to do that stuff. So that's let's talk about that either now or later. And I want to just bring up Audrey's question, and then we can, if it's appropriate to talk about now, or maybe you can give it some context. But Audrey says that he wants to have a print-on-demand product through Shopify, and he'd want to be able to accept payment in the bot and then get the print-on-demand app in Shopify to start the process of creating the shirt. Can Invoicing You talk to Shopify in that regard?
It can talk to Zapier. Invoicing You can talk to Zapier.
Right.
So now Shopify does have an API. All right. So for that integration, I don't know about Shopify Zapier integration and what they allow to be done in their Zapier integration. Now, I do know that Shopify has an API, and essentially Zapier, if you know how to set it up, Zapier can actually make API calls. So essentially, user pays in the bot. once they pay in the bot, that data is sent to Zapier, and then Zapier just calls either the Shopify Zapier integration to do the print on demand, or Zapier uses a Zapier webhook and essentially calls the Shopify API to do the print on demand.
Yeah, what I think might actually be even a little easier if you're going to already have Shopify is to have them pay through Shopify, and then have Shopify talk to Zapier, and then Zapier talk to the bot. So I think that
you can do that, but keep in mind, Hector, when you do that, the only issue that you have there is associating the Shopify user with the person in Messenger, because you're not guaranteed that the person on Shopify is already in Messenger. And if you go in and try to set up, I did it once in one of my training classes, it was a freaking disaster. If you go in and try to set up a Shopify bot, if you go in and try to connect Shopify to your Facebook bot, but also try to run MiniChat, or also try to run Chatfuel, it goes crazy. You'll never get to keep your custom menu, all right? So your custom menu will be automatically replaced by Shopify, and it just won't work properly whenever you do it. I mean,
so what's the for you, because we have some clients in the pipe who are Shopify people. Like, if we were going to bring them to your devs, what would you recommend in the way of bridging those two, or how do you see them talking to each other most effectively?
Here would be my best recommendation, Hector. So you know our relationship, and you know how much I'm willing to help you and everybody in your group, and everybody that's into this whole bot thing that at least has some sense. So essentially, what I think would be the best thing is we just kind of put our brains together on what needs to happen and what fulfills the most use cases. And I'll grab two of my engineers, and we can go build a custom Shopify Zapier integration that just uses the Shopify APIs to fulfill all the use cases that are needing to happen that there isn't a solution for. I mean, I got 40 software engineers that work for me. If we need to go in and talk to a few people and see, hey, this is exactly what you need, there's no solution for it, this is what it's going to cost, let's fund it together as a group, kind of like we did Chatlago. It's going to cost this much. It's not going to be a lot, because because it's my engineers that are doing it, and I'm not going to try to make a profit from it. We fund it as a group, and then everybody has access to it, and it's not a workaround situation. It's for these scenarios.
Yeah, that's what I had anticipated. I was just going to pay you to do it. So.
Yeah, I mean, you've done it before, so I would say definitely we do that again. So you're really crazy about I don't really know what you do, but you're really crazy about paying me to do shit just so you can give it to your group for free. So you keep doing that, bro, because I don't mind it.
I'd rather you get rich and they build a statue of me someday. That's what it's about.
So let's talk about this right here. This what you're seeing right here. This allows you to, let's say you want to run a sale on something, and you want to take a product that's normally $200 and sell it for $50, but you don't want to do that for everybody. You only want to do it for the first 10 action takers. That's where you do that right here. You just add a limit. You don't add a time limit. You add a unit limit, and you just go in and you add a quantity limit. You just pick 10. And then after 10 people buy this, no one else will be able to buy it. If you put in another link right here, you can put in any link that you want, but I recommend putting in another invoicing you link there, because once 10 people buy this product, or here, once 8 people buy this product, the next person, they can't buy it. We're going to show them that this offer is expired. It's reached its limit. We recommend this product, and we'll show them that link so they can click that link and go to the new price for the product after your limit. You can do a limit by quantity, or you can do a limit by time. Got it.
Great. Okay. This is great for me, dude. This is just so we can get you creating crazy shit again. Okay, so this is product invoice. Let's go in here and group invoice, and then we'll show how to integrate it onto the bot. So you want to talk about what group invoice is, and what I love about all these softwares is that they're really built for application. Like you really, like whenever you have it, you're like, here's here's why. So when you built group invoice, like what cases or uses did you see this being used for?
Oh, okay. So when we built group invoice, essentially we built the group invoice because I had several people that were doing webinars that are using our platform that approached me and said that they wanted this functionality. They said what they wanted was that they could have essentially a crowd. They wanted a Groupon, like a Groupon for their products or their courses, whatever they're selling online. They wanted to have their own Groupon type deal where they could get on a webinar with 500 people and they could say, you know what, this thing's $100, but if 50 of you guys go in and buy it, we'll reduce the price down to $90. If 500 of you guys buy it, we'll reduce the price down to $7 to incentivize more and more people to go buy, because as more people buy, everybody else gets a discount. So
and it updates in real time, right? Like it has a track.
It updates in real time. It updates in real time and it works. So I use it for myself. You can look in my account and see some of my group invoices that I ran, and it works because people, now it seems like there's a little bit of a learning curve, which is why I think it's perfect for webinars where people don't, and the reason people don't understand is because inherently people are stupid and they don't want to read the information right in front of them, even though it tells them that they're not going to get charged until it tells them, it says right on the group invoice, you will not get charged right now. You won't get charged until the offer expires. Everyone who signs up will pay the same price and it will be the lowest price available. All right. So it just creates, so essentially what you do here, you create a group name and you decide, do you want to offer a discount in percentage or do you want to offer a discount in dollar value? And then you create your different group sizes. So for example, you can create a product, it's $100. And you can say, hey, if I get 10 people to sign up, I'm going to drop the price by 10%, or I'm going to drop the price by $10. If I get 25 people to sign up, I'll drop the price by 25%, or I'll drop it by $25.
Okay. So I've got percentage and dollar percentage. Okay, you guys get that. You want to give them a certain amount of dollars up. All right. So group number, targeted number of people. This is how many people we sign up to get to the discount, right?
To get to the next lower tier, correct. And you can have
multiple tiers?
Yeah, you can have as many tiers as you want, man. And we're working right now, it's going to be released relatively soon. We're working on a complete backwards version of this where you start low and get higher as more people sign up. This one starts high and gets lower as people sign up, and everybody gets charged at the same time. We're working on the complete opposite. Right now, my devs are working on it, where it will start low, and when people sign up, they get charged instantly. And as more and more people sign up, it gets higher in tiers. So that creates another frenzy of people wanting to buy, because literally as they're on the webinar or as they're seeing in real time, people are buying this, and the more people that buy it, the more the price goes up. I better just go ahead and buy it now. It creates that massive call to action. And we got a couple other features that are coming out real soon that I won't mention right now.
Yeah, your devs are constantly working on this.
That is correct. So we're always adding in new features to all our software products. This is what they do. This is what my devs do whenever we don't have essentially enough client work to fulfill what we call project execution capacity. So essentially, my engineers do about 320 development hours every single day. And of that, let's say maybe 220 are purchased by a client. So every day I got 100 extra software development hours just sitting there. And I'm not the kind of boss that just lets my employees just sit there and do nothing. So those 100 hours, they go add new features to our products.
Killer. So let's clarify here just a couple of things, because I think I get it. So line item here, this is actually this is what they are buying. This is essentially the product.
Correct. And you can put as many line items as you want.
And it'll give the discount up here off of the total.
Correct.
Okay. So then, and then it'll also, I feel like this is new.
No, but you can add a subscription if you want to.
Wow, that's cool. This subscription amount, this is just a dollar amount here, right?
Correct. Now the big difference in this subscription amount and your other subscriptions is this subscription does not pull from your Stripe subscription, and the reason why is because we don't know what the amount of this subscription is going to be. If you set it at $100 right now, but you're given a $10 discount after 10 people sign up, then if 10 people sign up, this is not going to be a $100 subscription. It's going to be a $90 subscription. So we don't use any subscription that you currently have in Stripe. Once the invoice is processed, we create a custom subscription for whatever the price should be. Because we have no way to know it. If you've got 10 price drops, we have no way to know at what point your offer expires, at what price point it's going to be, and what subscription they should be on. So we just create a custom.
And so it would also discount the subscription?
Correct.
Got it. Got it. So you've got monthly, weekly, or yearly. Okay, cool. Now offer ends, this is time. Oh, look at that. I was going to say, how do you make sure you input it? But of course you fucking have it right there. All right. Anything else that's important? Tax. Now this tax percentage, just to, minor typo right there, but this tax percentage, is it going to add it on to that, or how does that work in terms of what it does to the invoice?
What it does to the invoice is exactly what you would think what it does. Is it whatever your invoice is, it multiplies that by 1 plus tax amount. So if you put in a 7 there, then whatever your invoice is, if your invoice is $100 and you put in a 7 there, your new invoice is $107 because you got $100 and $7 worth of tax.
Got it.
And sometimes you have to sell tax. Like for example, if you're selling online and you're selling something online and you're selling it to a buyer who lives in a state where you have a physical brick and mortar in that same state, you're required by law to charge whatever sales tax that state mandates.
Correct. That's why Amazon is Amazon.
That's why they have no stores.
That was a big reason why they chose Washington, because no one lived up there. So they didn't think they'd have to pay tax a lot. Okay, so we've got our stuff here. We've got, I mean, this is pretty, and what I love about invoicing you is it's pretty simple. What I find is the next step is, okay, how do we integrate this into the bot? What are the steps to integrate this into the bot here? So what can you talk through that and what steps we would need to put that?
Yeah, so it's really straightforward, Hector. I mean, it's really straightforward. You're going to use Zapier. So you're going to use Zapier, or you're either going to use Zapier to create a custom invoice with somebody, and whenever you create that custom invoice with Zapier, you're going to pass Zapier that user's page ID, either their Chatfuel ID or their ManyChat ID. You'll pass that to Zapier so that Zapier knows the Facebook user that invoice is for, so that whenever they pay that invoice, you're now holding their Facebook ID, so you can send them back a message through ManyChat, or you can send them back a broadcast message through Chatfuel or whatever bot building platform. So that's one way you're going to create the invoice dynamically through Zapier. The other way is you're going to go into invoicing you. You're going to create your product invoice. When you create your product invoice, you're going to add at least one hidden field. That hidden field would represent their ManyChat or their Chatfuel ID. And then you're going to grab the link to that invoice. And whenever you go inside your bot, you're going to give the URL to that invoice. And then you're just going to add a custom field with their messenger ID right there, so that whenever they hit the link, we're now holding what their Facebook Messenger ID is. And whenever they pay that, Zapier now knows exactly who they are, and you can send them out a message.
All right. So we've got two routes you talked about. The first one is the product, and the second one is dynamically. I feel like dynamically is a little more, is just a little maybe more sexy at first, because
Well, it does let you do right? So it does let you create a bot card. So for example, if we do
that's essentially what the dynamic does, is it lets you add to,
add a card. Correct.
So can we, you talked about you would do it through Zapier. We can't publicly stream Many Crash, so that'll be only for accelerators only, but we'll try and do it for them later. But let's do it here on Chatfuel. If you could kind of walk through, even me, that would be helpful to see what are kind of the steps in terms of Zapier, Chatfuel, and Invoicing You that are needed to kind of connect and get them all talking.
Okay, so on the Chatfuel side, you're going to need to have a JSON API that goes to Zapier. Okay, so there's a couple different components. The first component is you need to build a way for a user to say, hey, I want to add this to my cart. All right. So essentially you got add to cart here. You can put some products here, and you got a button that is going to add something to the cart. All right. So we need to know, what do you want to add to the cart? You got some product, the product name, the quantity that the user wants, and the price per unit, right? Now, kind of like you saw in the demo restaurant bot, right? How many of these do you want to buy? You want to add this to your cart. So you have that function.
Well, what's great about it is Invoicing You just has a Zapier integration. I mean, I don't know how you fucking, maybe that's easy for a dev to do, but it's pretty sweet. So what's cool is that it would probably be in, I want to show those just the fields that it's going to ask when you're creating an invoice. But that would only be
so just go back to make a Zap, and then go to your action, go to your second step, and pick Invoicing You there.
So guys, when you're asking for, when it comes to the information that you need from the bot, here's essentially the stuff that you can give the cart, essentially. Here's the stuff that it kind of needs, right? So you can go in here and you can pull the name obviously from Chatfuel. The memo here, this is the note that's going to be on there. Their email. This would be, so for example, this would be something that you'd ask for prior to delivering the invoice, correct?
Yeah.
So all these things happen kind of in advance. You have your item, you have your quantity.
Oh, come on, Hector. You tell me, bro, how many, I mean, in your life as a sales guy, how many people have you ever issued an invoice to that they hadn't given you their email address yet? Exactly. I know you're good, bro. I know you're good. Are you that good that you're issuing invoices without getting the email first, man?
Well, it's a great point, because the thing about chatbots is they really bring out it's conversational marketing is what it is. And so what this is doing is, like, similarly, if you were sitting down with a person, you go, okay, sir, what's your email address? Okay, got it. Boom. Okay, great. Here's your invoice. Here's how to pay. And similarly, your chatbot's going to go, okay, you don't need to ask them their name. You already have their name, right? But now Chatfuel, actually, I haven't even looked at this, but apparently they made it really easy to get people's emails now, which is pretty exciting. I like that, because that was the only thing that Many Crash had over Chatfuel now.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
What qualms do you have with it?
Just how they did it. I mean, the way, if it was me and I was a developer, I would have not added this user email thing, because look, now hit add again. Hit add and get some user input. Now validate for an email. This should be it. You shouldn't need the first one. If you do this right here, that should be prompting up that bubble, right?
Like it does in many crash, right?
Correct. So
yeah.
That's the one thing that I don't like about it. I'm glad they implemented it because I was getting tired of waiting and I was about to have my devs go in and create something for everybody. So I'm glad they did it. I just don't understand I guess I do probably because it's probably the easiest way for them to do it without having to change it.
Breaking everything. Without going in and changing all the stuff. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So going back to what you need here in Zapier. So all of this stuff is basically what you can grab from the conversation, right? Some of this stuff can just already be pre-programmed, but now what you can do is, so when you're talking about adding to cart though, can it? So your restaurant bot, I look at it and I play with it, but I don't know what's going on behind the scenes here.
So let me tell you what's going. Let me tell you what's going on behind the scenes. Click. So what's going on behind the scenes are two distinct things. Okay. If I know you've been in there playing with it, so you know that there's a function add to cart, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's a distinct function where you have to give a keyword checkout. So right.
Correct.
You don't get the invoice until you check out. So there's a function called add to cart. Every time you add to cart, I just store your data temporarily in Zapier. Okay. Zapier has a thing called Zapier storage, and I use what's called a Zapier list. All right. In that Zapier list, I just store your messenger ID, and then everything that you want to add to cart, I store as a pair in there that says, I've got a list, and that list has a name, and that the name of the list is your messenger ID. All right. Now that list has these values in it, and the values that it has are the things that you have added to your cart. You added 3 margaritas that are $1 a piece to your cart. So when you hit add to cart, I just go out to Zapier storage and I say, hey, I've got Hector's messenger ID. So go find me the list whose name is whatever your messenger ID is. And I want to add a new thing into that list. Here's the data that I'm going to add in there because I'm going to add a margarita with quantity 6 and a price point of 11 or whatever.
How many different zaps is that? Is that 2 or 3?
That's just one.
That's one. Well, no, the list and then the checkout, right? The whole process.
Correct. Now, once you check out, as soon as you check out, essentially, the first thing I do is I go find that list. I say, hey, where's that list? Where's Hector's list? I grab that list. I say, give me all the data in the list. That's everything you added to your cart. I type that into a little math function that calculates your total. And then I feed that into the create an invoice thing. And essentially all the things that you ordered, I just stick in. Literally what I do is if you check the invoice, I just have one line item and it's like your order, quantity 1, and price, whatever the total price of your cart is. And all the actual items in your cart, I just put in the memo there.
Got it. And the Zapiers, you're using storage, and then is there another function that mask? Is that I self-admittedly have not dug into Zapier as much as I should have, but I have played with the storage one. That's obviously one, and then is the to like put the data and to like do all the calculations. Is that its own function, or is that something that?
That's just a formatter. It's called Zapier formatter.
So this one. Okay, cool, great. So
yeah, it's just like a spreadsheet formula. Inside that storage by Zapier, I have a list of the things that you've added to your cart that has the name of the item, the quantity of the item, and the price of the item. Okay. Now you're adding.
Let's talk about how we get that information to Zapier. So, because I think that's something that I think I understand, but I know that a lot of people are that's just the JSON API, right?
Correct. That's just the JSON API. So to get the data to Zapier, first you need to go to Zapier.
Okay.
Now you need to set this trigger here. You just search webhook. Yep. You want to do a catch hook. You don't care about that, so you just want to go next. You want to grab that URL, and you want to go put that in the JSON API.
So this right here is what's going to send the information.
What you just done is essentially almost the exact same thing as trigger a Zap in ManyChat. The big difference here is ManyChat, when you trigger a Zap, ManyChat will send you all the data about the user when you trigger that Zap. Here, you're triggering a Zap, but the only data that will be sent to Zapier is the data that you put, it's those custom user attributes that you pick. If you don't pick them, they don't get sent to Zapier. So if you want to know this person's first name, you have to send the data there to Zapier.
And here's where you can go in and you can send their email, or essentially what we're putting up here, you can say, what's your email? And then here is where you can start to get all the information that you're going to fill in later on the invoice.
Correct.
Wonderful. Okay, we don't need to worry about that. All right. So we've got an email. So the next thing is that we kind of want to say, how much do you want to pay? And let's see, this none. Let's see.
I'm not sure if we would. I'm not sure if we would ever really do this. I mean, we can do it for a demo, but I'm not sure that we were ever going to ask her. I'm not sure we're ever going to ask our client how much they want to pay.
No. What I'm showing is that this can be dynamically, right? And so essentially this right here could be their margarita, or this could be so maybe let's delete that, and let's say how many margaritas do you want? Is that more appropriate?
That works, sure.
And then here, would we need to validate it as a number? Would that matter? I don't know. That
would matter because
Zapier a number, right?
Because if it's not a number, then they're not going to get to they're not going to get to add dog. They want dog number margarita. We're not going to be able to create an invoice for that.
Right. All right. Okay. So we've got this. So we've got some basic information, and then we're going to send this off to Zapier. All right. So then Zapier is going to come and grab that over here. And then what's next over here after we catch this hook?
So either one of two things. What's next is either going to be invoicing you, generate the invoice. Or what's next is going to be Zapier storage, store some data because they want to add something to their cart.
I see. Okay, so here's where we would kind of store their cart, store their information, and what?
Less common options.
Forgive me for being a fucking idiot here, dude.
Less common options at top. No search, create, less common options. Yeah, push a value onto a list of values. Go back up. Set multiple values stored at defined keys. I gotta look it back up. Try that add value to a list.
Push value onto list?
Correct.
All right. So this key here, this key is, oh, it's because we haven't populated it. So let's see if I can go back.
That key, what I use for that key is the Facebook Messenger ID.
And so this key is like, how do we remember them? It's like, what's
right. You think Zapier storage, it's essentially a box. And in that box, we're going to put a bunch of little things inside that box. Now, whenever everybody's got a box, there's a box for you, there's a box for me. how do we know what box has Hector's information? How do we know what box has John's information? So we give those box names. And to me, it's just so appropriate to give the box name as the messenger ID because it's already a unique value.
Right, it's a unique value. And so down here in JSON API, one thing that we'll have to do is, what's the difference between, and feel free to get as technical as you can or want, what's the difference between the Chatfuel ID and the messenger user ID? Does it matter which one you use?
One says Chatfuel user ID, one says messenger ID.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. I don't know why they have them, honestly. I think why they have them is I think before they used to make I think before at some time, Chatfuel used to make there was different IDs for the Chatfuel user ID and the messenger ID because Chatfuel can be multi-platform. So they have a bot platform for Telegram as well, or they used to have a bot platform for Telegram. So I think back when they had that Telegram platform, that you could have a unique user ID, but you needed to have a Telegram ID and a messenger ID for the two different platforms.
I see. That makes sense. Let's see if this works now. All right, so I ran through it, and so you guys like the thing with Zapier is you have to run through a test first to make sure that it can catch it. Okay, so we did all this. Let's continue here. Let's continue here. Storage. That's the key. Okay, so now we've got our stuff. So I've got my messenger user ID right here that I'm going to grab, and then I told him I wanted 2 margaritas. So where does that info go?
That info would essentially go right here. Okay. So what you would do is go back to Chatfuel.
I need to give so I need the amount, it looks like.
So what you would do here is you're going to ask them what they want. All right. And then you're going to store that information in a variable, and essentially 2 different variables.
So I can put here, so it can be like what are you buying type thing. Like this is kind of to figure. Yeah, I see that. I see what you're saying.
Correct. I already know what they're buying, right? Because they saw something, they clicked add to cart. So I know what they're buying because I know what they clicked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now they're going to tell me how many. Now each time I'm putting this into a custom field. All right. They say, hey, I want to buy this thing, and I put the name of that thing into a custom field called line item. All right. And then I ask them, how many of these do you want? And they're like, I want 16. Well, I put that in line item quantity.
And so these are going to be saved to these user attributes, and that's going to be sent. And we need to make sure that's
now also, I know, obviously, because it's my product, I'm selling it. I know what the line item price is, right? I know what the price of the unit is. So now I'm going to manually set an attribute line item price based on a condition. All right.
And I'm going to do that in Zap, or I do that in Chatfuel?
You'll do that in Chatfuel.
Okay, so then right here I can do like this.
Correct. Line item price.
No, let's see. Okay, got it. So this is gonna.
Okay, now the main thing that the main advice that I could really give you and all of your students whenever it comes to Chatfuel is the way that Chatfuel set up is really different, as you can tell, than ManyChat. So what we would want to do here is we would essentially want to we would essentially need to have different blocks to be able to manually hold that price. We would either have to do that, or we could also rely on Zapier. Okay. What we could do is in Zapier, we could hold a list of all our line items and what their prices are. And whenever we send this to Zapier, we could first go out. Let's say we could have 3 line items: line item 1, line item 2, line item 3. All right. So we create a Google spreadsheet. It's got line item 1, line item 2, line item 3, and it's got each of their prices. All right. So now you send this data to Zapier. The first thing that you do is you go to your spreadsheet and you say, hey, find me the price where the line item is equal to whatever line item you just sent to Zapier. Now that gives you the price per unit. You can use that in your calculation to calculate what the total price is of that particular line item.
Okay.
Does that make sense at all? Or you need some more?
Yes and no. So I think it's answering Kevin's question, which is he asked if you can pass a constant to Zapier. And I guess my question is you're talking about in order to pass that constant, which is this price, we know the price, that's not going to change. That's kind of what you're talking about, right? We can either do this, or you said there was another option. I didn't quite understand the other option.
The other option is we can have
Zapier hold the constant.
We can have Zapier hold essentially, yes, a database, a Google spreadsheet, a mapping sheet that says, okay, line item A is $10 a unit. Line item B is $5 a unit. C is $12 a unit. Now, when you send your data to Zapier, the first thing you do is say, hey, go look up Google spreadsheets and find line item A. And Google spreadsheet's going to give you A back, and you can just say, okay, what's the price of A? And it will be like, okay, $17. Now you're holding that $17, right?
Got it.
Because the difference is in ManyChat, they give you that flow builder, so it's kind of easy for you to go in and say, oh, if they pick this option, then line item price is 3. If they pick this other option, then line item price is 4. If you notice here and go back to Chatfuel, that's one of their downer sides. Do you see how there's no filter here? There's no condition here whatsoever. All right.
Right.
So what you would have to do here is have a bunch of different blocks. So what you would have to do here is essentially where you're putting this line item price statically, that's all going to be in its own block by itself. Right. And you're going to need one for every type of product that you have. And then right above that, you're going to need your go-to block statements that are going to say, hey, if line item is equal to A, go to line item is A block. If line item is equal to B, go to line item is B block. Right. And you're going to have to send them there just to do nothing but set the price of line item to your static value. Then you're going to have to send them to the next block, which is add to cart. Right.
Which was why the ironic thing is how easy invoicing you is to integrate with ManyCrash. It's just so it's funny because that would be a simpler, not any necessarily easier, but a simpler process.
My recommend, and this is what I was getting at for you, because of how Chatfuel is so different from ManyChat. My recommendation, this shit's still so easy, Hector. Trust me, this shit's still so easy. If you're finding it difficult,
if you're a genius, if you're a fucking genius, yes.
even if you're not, it's easy. If you're finding it difficult, what I recommend, you don't have to do it with ManyChat. And the reason you don't have to do it with ManyChat is if you look what you do every day on your lives.
You know, John, it's not that it's difficult. I'll tell you what it is. It's that there's such a poor job of people giving instructions on practical use cases, right? There's a ton of people like, here's how you set up this stuff, right? But they don't tell people how to actually make money with it. So that's why it's not that it's just that the recipes are like, you're like grandma JoJo who has all the recipes in her head. A lot of people those recipes haven't been written out yet. So that's what it is. And for the people who are watching this, that's kind of what I wanted to say. And like that, this stuff, like after you wrap your head around, okay, you pour in this, you boil the water, then you mix the salt, then you stir. Like once you get that, you're right. It is very simple because it's just the same thing over and over again.
Sure. And all my recommendation is whenever you're going to, in ManyChat, you don't have to do it because ManyChat gives you that visual builder. So it doesn't make so much sense to take out a pen and paper and diagram what you're building, right? Because as you're building it in ManyChat, you're essentially building your diagram. That's the only different thing that you want to do in Chatfuel. And Chatfuel, before you try to go, balls to the wall and just start building this, you need to first go right over to that whiteboard. You need to erase that whiteboard, and you need to essentially map out what you're trying to do. And then that will naturally show you all the different blocks and what your flow needs to be in Chatfuel. Whereas ManyChat, you don't have to do it because they just give you the flow builder.
Yep. Okay, so we've got this. So we've got this aspect here. Let's kind of show them. Let's finish. I can't believe we've been talking for an hour here. Let's show them how they can like create a cart here. So let's jump back over here to Zapier. And so is this aspect necessary? This kind of storage aspect, or is there a simpler way?
It really depends. So
let's just take this basic use case, right? Where it's like, okay, we have their basically they've told us that they wanted to add this item to their cart.
I want to say yes, it's necessary because you want to on the invoice, you want to show them everything that's in their cart, right?
Great.
You want to show them, hey, you ordered 5 of these, and you ordered 6 of these, and you ordered 12 of these, and you ordered 1 of these. Mm-hmm. So because you want to show all those different line items, but essentially in invoicing you're going to add them in as one single line item. We want to store all of this data somewhere so that we can just pull it out as a big piece of text and put it in the memo and show them, here's everything in your cart. And I'm just going to, but in invoicing I'm just going to add one line item, your order, quantity of 1, and the total is going to be the total amount in your cart. And then in the memo, I'm going to break down and show you each and everything that's in your cart.
Wonderful. So this storage is definitely is a necessary aspect. Okay, cool. So we've got here, I went through, I'm going to run through again just so that it gets the new information. Oops. Here. Okay. And it got it. Okay, so it got all this information that we needed, right? It told us that we wanted 2 margaritas. Okay, so now, John, going down here to the storage aspect, is push value, is that the one that we want?
Correct.
Okay, so then we're going to hop down here. That's the one that we want. There's a small step to setting up your storage stuff, guys, but it's not a big deal. Go Google it. Okay, so we got our key value here. What do we put in here?
Oh, here we're going to put in, here we needed a couple steps before here, all right? Okay. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to put in the line item here. We're going to put in a space or a colon or a dash or something. Put in like a quantity. Like see, I would go before the step 1 and put an item colon dash quantity colon. Yeah, just like that.
Okay.
And then go past that, and then put in essentially a total. Well. So yeah, you could put in just the line item price. That's fine. That's totally fine. I put in like a unit price or something like that so that they know it's a unit price.
Okay.
And then push it at the beginning or the end. That's up to you where you want to push it.
What do you mean? I didn't catch that. I'm sorry.
The location that you want to push this, it's up to you. Do you want to push at the beginning of the list or at the end of the list? It doesn't matter.
Let's put it at the end.
Okay, that's the default, so you can just leave that like that.
Okay. And do I need to do anything? I don't really. So where to push it? I see.
Yeah, you don't. You
I get it.
end of the list.
I get it. I get it. So this is basically, this is just going to add on. This is going to add on to this. Okay, I get what the fuck's going on here. All right, let's move. Okay, so we've got it. Is this what it? Does this look all right? Is this what things are like?
That's correct.
Okay. So
Now we want. Nope.
Oh, we're not finished.
No, we got a couple more steps here, man. Here we want to use formatter.
Okay.
No, here we want to. Okay, first we want to use lookup.
What do I? What?
We want to. Here we want to do storage again. We want to do Zapier storage again. And we want to. Here we want to get a value. Okay. And I guess we don't need to essentially get a value. So we don't necessarily need to get a value. Okay, you can just go to increment value. You can go back to storage. I don't know why you're on your. Oh, okay, yeah. So we don't get a value. Go back there to the action and go to less common options, no search at the top. Increment value, that's correct. Create increment value. There you go.
Uh-huh.
Now the key we're also going to use, I'm also going to use their ManyChat ID. Because this is just a single variable. This is not a list. So we can have it twice because it's not a list.
Okay.
All right, so now what we need to do here is, what we need to do here is you need to go back over to this action and hit that little plus button. Nope, hit the little add a new action right there.
Okay.
And then here you want to pick formatter. And you want to do numbers, and you want to do a spreadsheet style formula.
Spreadsheet style.
And your formula should be line item quantity times line item price.
Oh, excuse me. Does it matter if I grab it from the hook or from the list?
You can't grab it from the list. What's in the list is a string, so you got to get it from the hook.
So the formula is basically the price times the quantity, right?
Correct. Because what we're doing is we're updating the total. What we're going to do right now is update the total value that's in their cart. So we just added a line item. Now we're going to update the total value in their cart. I don't think that's correct. I think you're using the same thing twice. Maybe it's, yeah, that one right there. Look, just go up to the top real quick.
Over here.
You see that little eyeball?
This one?
Right. Yeah. If you turn that off, then now you can look and see what you're referencing here to make sure you're doing the right thing.
Quantity and price. All right.
That's it there.
Okay.
Now you can continue. And this value is going to be the value you put in your next step.
Got it. So there's the continue. Okay. So then down here, now we've got the increment value. Do we still need the increment one?
Yep, you still need it.
Okay.
And now you're just going to increment it by that previous steps value.
Got it. Okay. Wonderful. So now this is right here. This is putting together the total for the cart.
Correct. Every time they add a new unit, every time they add a new, you need to go back. I think you need to go back to the template and click. So try to continue again and let's see what that said.
Okay. Let's see. Previous value is not a number. Maybe because I couldn't because there was nothing in this key.
No, that shouldn't matter. That shouldn't matter at all.
This key.
Oh,
aren't I trying to?
Just do me a favor. Just take that. Just take that right where you're at. No, put that back there. And now just put a dash. Order dash total.
And okay.
Because you got that's what the problem is. You got the same key for that list. So now you should be good.
So what did this do here? This created a new kind of a new.
You remember we made that analogy of that storage object being a box,
right?
Okay, so we already had a box with that random string of numbers, your ID. We already had a box there, and it didn't have numbers in it. It had text in it. So now essentially you're telling Zapier, go get that box that has text in it and increment it with these numbers because we're using the same box number. All right.
Got it.
So we needed to use a different box number. Essentially, the value that you were incrementing was that list that we just added the line item to. That's why. And mine, I just forgot. In mine, I don't call their list of items. I don't call that by their messenger ID. I call that their messenger ID dash order.
Got it. Okay. What are so we've got our increment value, and then now is this one gonna go? Now are we at invoicing you yet?
No. Now we're back to send a message back to the bot user that this thing has been added to their cart. What else do they want to do? Do they want to check out, or do they want to buy more studs?
I dig it. John, I got to take a piss real quick. Can you do?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Let's do it together, buddy, because I was just thinking that.
All right, you guys, we're gonna be back in like 30 seconds, so sit tight. This is gonna be a weird break, but it's got to happen. All right, sorry guys, that was weird, but it happens. So we're talking about this. Honestly, if you guys are here, you guys are amazing, but this is honestly for my own education, because we're going to be doing a lot more on how to build your business with this stuff. I just wrote down that, like all of the tools right are here, and I have access to all these, and I'm not using these to the fullest extent. So we really want to help you guys to.
Hector, it's really hard to be quite honest, it's really hard for anybody to use it to the fullest extent, because you think this software bundle that you're offering, you want to know realistically how much time of software development is in that software bundle. Let me just calculate it for you. Give me 1 second. Let me just calculate.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk over while you're calculating, and the thing is, guys.
8 years, bro. 4 years.
Guys, that's crazy, and the fact that we're giving, here's the reason why we're doing it at such an incredible, like we're giving you all of these for $1, and the honest to God reason is I need help in figuring out how do we help people to understand the big, what's really possible, and help people to see all, there's so much that you can do with all this stuff that someone asked me to put all of it into 3 minutes yesterday, and that's is near impossible. because it's 8 years of development. And so anyways, I think that it's important for us to talk about that. Okay, so we got our card has been updated in Zapier. Now we need to send that back to Chatfuel and say, okay, your cart has been updated. So I'd imagine that there's a block in here that we need to create, or do we do the Zapier first?
I would create, so you've got two options, all right? You've got two options. You can either send a user, you have to have a block, all right? So you can either you can just broadcast a user to a block, or you can first populate a Zapier card in Chatfuel and then send the user to the block. The only advantage is the Zapier card is going to allow you to put in an image and put in custom data. Fill out a custom card is the only difference.
Okay. But that's both of them. That second one that you just talked about, that would include the first step, right? So that's kind of an optional step, is what you're saying?
Correct. Both steps you have to do a broadcast.
Okay. Well, let's go in and talk about that populating a card, because I think that would be helpful for people to see how to do that when they go, okay, here's some dynamic information back to you. Here's what your card is. You can see it or whatever. So what would we need to do to populate that card?
Press the plus button. Scroll down to the bottom to the Zapier integration. Copy that right there. Go to Zapier. Choose Chatfuel for Facebook. Most important thing here is when you connect an account once you connect an account, the most important thing is that you give it a nice name so you know what that's for.
All right. And we're good. Okay. So now what this is that this is going to populate a card on Chatfuel. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to grab information and we're going to save it onto kind of like a gallery-ish, yeah, right. I mean, a gallery card, for your bot. So here, your card title. This is essentially the headline of that card. So this is the headline. You have a subtitle, which is underneath. This goes underneath. What I love is that it allows you to grab an image. So you always talk about the fact that you can kind of add some interaction here. So let's use some GIFs, right? Because that's just, I don't know. This is, say, copy image address, right? I can go in here. I can throw that. Nope, that's not it. Huh. Wonder what happened. Let's see here. Copy image address. There we go. Okay. John, this card URL, that's going to be the link that
if the user clicks the card, that it would open.
Okay.
It's optional, so you could just leave it. Buttons are optional as well.
Buttons are optional. Okay. Is there? Okay, cool. So we don't need to. This is going to happen when this is the headline. Let's see.
You wouldn't do this though, buddy. I mean, this would be useless to do here.
In this case,
it would be completely useless because the data never changes. So there's no reason to add this. There's no reason to add the same static data.
Well, you could hypothetically do something like this, right?
This is the only reason you would want to do that. Correct. To make the card dynamic. That's the only reason you'd want to do this.
Right.
If you're not going to use any data from Zapier in this step, you want to eliminate this step and then just go create the card with the static data in your Chatfuel block in place of that Zapier card that you used.
Got it. So, well, I wanted to kind of show them this both for my understanding, but this is essentially what you would do if you want to display the information that you had before and then send it out to them. That's what you would do. Okay. So let's just do that. All right. So then basically when they add that to the cart, it's going to automatically come back. And does this mean it's going to send it, or we need to also create a broadcast API to send it?
You need to create a broadcast API, and you need to send them to that particular block that you just populated the card at.
Okay. So then if I want to send them that block,
you don't have to do anything else. You just got to grab that. Yeah.
Can I put the broadcast in here? Or what?
No, the broadcast goes in Zapier. You need to go add an action in Zapier. It's a webhook.
Okay, and it's a post.
And it's a post.
I got it. Okay. And then I would need to grab the broadcast API from Chatfuel. So, okay, so I'm putting this together a little bit.
Hey, buddy, if you want to make me rich again, I mean, if you want to give me more money, bro, I could totally go in and create a real simple Zapier application that's just a Chatfuel broadcast where you connect your stuff one time, and then all you do is essentially give the user ID and the block ID, and you don't have to do that webhook stuff and copy the broadcast token every time. You just do it once, connect your account, and then all you ever do is give the messenger ID and I should start doing that anyways, just for Chatfuel, just to build their stuff up and be like, why don't you guys just pay me to start?
So, okay, so here's the thing, right? Like, if this post step is essentially just, you would go in and you would select many crash and you would select send message or whatever, right? Like that's
send message or send content to user, correct?
Something like that. But Chatfuel, it's a couple of extra steps, which honestly, once you figure out, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so we're gonna grab this link and you can go to just the broadcast API, grab that link in there because that's kind of a static link that you need to plug some info in. Up here is your bot ID. So then that's going to go into this bot ID here. And then you're also going to do Chatfuel. Do we need Chatfuel token?
Yep, you need everything.
We need the Chatfuel token. So then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go to configure. And I got my Chatfuel token right in there. There's my Chatfuel token. So that's going to go in there. And then I don't need these user attributes, right? If you do that, is that going to assign attributes, or what is that going to do? Do you know?
That will essentially, you have user attributes that will pop in whatever value you want into those user attributes.
Okay, so it'll define those attributes is what you're saying. Got it.
Correct.
Got it. And then the last one is I need to send them a message, or I need to create I need to get the block of the ID of the block that I want to send them. So if I populated this card though, right? How do I send them this card before, or is that would I send them the ID?
You don't have to. You go back to Zapier. So, all right. So go. You see this action 5? This action here, you've essentially given data back to Chatfuel. All right.
Right.
So Chatfuel. Now go back to Chatfuel. Right here in that block, Chatfuel now has that little piece of data. So what you want to do is you want to change that from all updates to only last update.
Send. What?
Okay. Now you've pre-populated this with your custom data. Immediately after you pre-populate this with your custom data, you're going to broadcast the user right to this block where they're going to see that custom data you just put inside there.
Okay, cool. So then I'm gonna plug in, I can take this name right here, and then I can plug in this block name right here.
Right. Now also keep in mind that your attributes do come last, but they get populated before you send the user to the block.
Interesting. Okay.
It's very interesting, right? But also keep in mind, Hector, that do you see this question mark?
Where? What are you talking about?
After send?
After send?
Yeah, go up to your HTTPS, go right there. Nope, your big chunk, your URL chunk, man.
Okay. Yep.
You see you got user ID? No, and Zapier, buddy.
Oh, and here, right here?
Yeah, you see you got user. Now look right to the right. You see the question mark after send?
Yep.
All right. Now, if you look after that question mark, what you have is key pairs. You have a Chatfuel token equals some shit, and then there's an and sign. And then there's another thing equals some other shit. And then if you look back at Chatfuel, look at their broadcast API again, back at Chatfuel reference. Now,
I have all these, is what you're talking about?
Nope, go up. There was another one that they were showing it good. I think it's because you got your page. Anyways, just scroll over here.
Where is it that you want me to scroll?
Up at the top of that URL. Just go up at the top. Now just scroll over here. You see where you got a thing where you can scroll over where they're showing you your broadcast API?
Oh, okay, here?
Yeah,
Yep.
You see each one of those things. You have a block name equals something, and a user attribute equals something, and another user attribute equals something.
Mm-hmm.
Those things, it doesn't matter what order that you put them in. You could put your Chatfuel token equals your token at the very end if you want. You can put your attributes. Those things have no order in which they're put in there. It doesn't matter which order you put them in. If you want to put your block first and then your token and then your attributes, it's going to work the same. If you want to put your attributes first and then your block and then your token, it's going to work the same.
Got it.
Anything that is anything that is behind that question mark, you can clearly see how it's one thing equals another thing, an and sign, one thing equals another thing, and sign. So as long as you take the one thing equals another thing, you can pull that out and you can put that in place of anything else anywhere you want. It doesn't matter where they go.
Right. And essentially,
Chatfuel will always set the user attributes first before they send you to the block. So when you hit that broadcast API, they're first going to stick your values into the user attributes, and then they'll send you to the API.
Great. So right here, we can update the attributes through that. So right here.
Correct.
That's cool. Okay. So we forgot one thing. We need to put the user ID, and we need to put that into, we have the messenger user ID. Okay, JSON payload, that's what you need. Data, do we need to wrap, unflatten? All this stuff is pretty much, we can just leave it, right? Okay, we're gonna hit continue.
Yeah, all that you don't need to mess with.
Oh, 5 has an error. Why? All right, so this is the last step, and this post will be able to come back and then deliver the updated cart information. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we've sent that back to them, and let's see if this works. There we go. What's your email? test@livestream.com. Oh, look, it already sent it to me. That's funny. What do you want to buy? I want to buy new shoes. Let's see that. And how many do I want? I want 3 pairs. And let's see what happens.
What's up to Jody? Too close.
All right, guys. So we're trying to test the cart here. Maybe it just takes a while. I'm not sure. Or maybe if I put in some weird data here. I'm not sure. Let's see.
Hold up, bro.
Uh-huh.
Never mind. You look like you're good.
Because it looks like it delivered it, right? So it worked. I'm just wondering why on this new one, I'm wondering if since I screwed up, I put in new information, why it didn't grab that info. Let's see, test.com. See Margarita. And let's just go back to that too. So here that's just interesting because it
Go back to Zapier, man. Go right click on that view task history.
You know what? Look at like I'm a fucking idiot.
You never turned the Zap on, dummies.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to delete
That's
this.
slick, bro. That's real slick what you're doing there, man.
How do I delete this fucking step? No, I don't want to.
What are you trying to delete? If you're trying to delete, hit that little down arrow. There you go.
On. See, guys, no, I'm just a moron.
Oh shit, man! You know how many training videos I did when this stupid screen came up until I finally decided to give Zapier $3,000 a year?
Well, I just have a bunch of stupid zaps that are on that don't need to be on. So let me go in here and turn some off. We don't need any of those. You pay them $3,000 a year, and you just gave them did they just give you just kind of free reign at that point?
They let you do whatever you want, yeah.
Yeah.
And so essentially, like, part of what I do, Hector, for example, my clients, my students, they don't want to pay $3,000 a year. So I already pay $3,000 a year. I have to just for my own purposes. So I just let them use my account either as an upsell, instead of paying $3,000 a year, I'll charge you $50 a month, and you can have unlimited access to Zapier, and I just add you to my account. Or if they're a real hard close, then I'll just say, I'm going to give you a $3,000 a year Zapier account. You don't have to buy because of this, and it makes it an extra little value.
Killer. All right, so now if the Zap is on, let's see if it works. Oh, look at that. Boom. What do you fucking know? It says you can keep shopping or check out. All that information was pulled right from Chatfuel. Okay, or from Zapier. All right, so now what if we want to check out? That's kind of the last step is we've got this information in Zapier. We've got this information in Chatfuel. We got invoicing.
So stay here in Chatfuel, create a little block called checkout. So, I mean, here, bro, you can do whatever you want, man. You can ask them a bunch of information. Do you really want to check out? Would you like to buy some more stuff? Or you can go straight to the gravy and you can just do the JSON API and trigger a Zap.
So the JSON API, and you made a really good reference that this JSON API is just like the trigger a Zap function. Like I think that helps a lot. That helps me a lot. So okay, so is this the one that we need?
Yep.
Okay, and we're gonna go.
You don't have to change that to post, by the way. You can leave that as get. It doesn't have to be changed as post. But now you're gonna go to Zapier. You're gonna create a new Zap. You're gonna use a webhook. You're gonna pick a catch hook. And then you're going to get the catch hook and you're going to go back to Chatfuel and put that URL in there.
So in the first, the trigger is a webhook.
Correct. And you're going to use the catch hook.
Catch hook.
And then you're just going to continue. You're going to grab that URL, go back to Zapier, put it in the JSON API. And then just select whatever custom fields you want to be sending to us. The only thing you need to send at this point is the dude's messenger ID or the dude's Chatfuel ID is the only thing you need to do at this point.
I just want to be consistent. Okay. I think, I don't know which one I use, so let's just be safe. Okay, so this is going to send that, and it's going that will allow it to talk to, yeah, Zapier. Okay, so we're here. Now, do we need to jump back over to Zapier?
You don't need both of those guys, but yes, you need to jump back over to Zapier. Well, the first thing that you need to do is
they're the same. I just don't know which one I put on the previous Zap, so it
don't matter. We don't care. It doesn't matter which one you use. All we care is the value that's held inside there. What you probably want to do right now is go back to Chatfuel, go to your AI, create some checkout keyword that puts somebody in this block so that you can test that Zapier.
We need to send some data to it, right? Is what basically what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So check out. I sent it there. Let's go back here. Let's go to our checkout block. And okay. So now we need to go to invoicing you.
No, now you need to, did you test this already?
Yeah, I did. I went in.
I don't think you did, bro, because
test this here?
Yeah, it's not your, okay, I did this. Now you want to go back to your messenger bot and hit checkout. Or there you go. View your hook. Make sure you got your data. All right, now you're good. Now you want to do two lookups real quick. You want to use Zapier storage and you want to look up two values.
Is that a get?
Yeah, you want to get a value.
Or do I get multiple?
Nope, you want to get a value.
Okay.
Now do me a favor, open up a new tab and open up Zapier. And then just find that Zap. Just go to your Zaps and find that Zap that we just created, that add to cart Zap. It's got to be at the top. This is why I always tell you to name these guys. It's that one right there, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now you just want to look and see what the key values are here. So look at value 2, look at action 2. Okay, so you want to, so you go to the Zap that you're creating.
No. Oh, why did it log me out? Okay.
Okay, now you want to change your action to not get value. You want to get a list.
Get list?
Yep.
Okay.
And then you're just going to give that key. Now that you can leave like that if you want to leave like that. That you can leave like that. If you want to do some formatting so that this looks a little prettier, you can. But you just go ahead and leave it like that, and you're done here.
It says item format is required.
So click that little. No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Give me 1 second.
Or do I just put so do I just
you can just put pound S if you want. You can just put %. %S. I think that will be fine.
Okay.
If not, I gotta look it up real quick on another one.
Yeah, because it's just gonna separate the stuff, right? It's just gonna.
Correct.
Okay. And so what we're doing.
Now let's view your list values real quick so we can see what they look like.
It looks like because I did multiple tests, that's what it did over here.
So go back to edit options.
Okay.
So give me just 1 second. I'm actually trying to see if I can find exactly what format that I used whenever I did mine. So just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can just find my format, what formatter that I use. I'm just looking at it right now. Get list values, edit options. Yeah, I just used, oh, okay. So go back to edit options on the second one. And then just go to the bottom and give a item separator new line. There you go. You retest.
Yep.
There you go. All right.
That looks good.
Now add another step. You also want to do a storage.
Okay.
Now you're going to get a value and a search, get a value.
Okay.
And this would be your other key. If you don't remember it, go look at it. Or if you don't remember it, it's the messenger ID dash order dash total. I do remember it, but if you don't remember it, you can always just go look at your add to cart function and see what values you're using.
And what you're talking about is if I jump over here, I've got, so I created.
Right there, that increment.
And so that is this one right here. So this
Correct.
new key. Got it. Okay. So then if I hop over here, it's going to grab that key and we'll say continue. So that's the key that it's going to take. All right. Is that? Yeah, look at that. There's my value. There's my new cart total right there.
Now you want to add a step.
Okay.
Oh, one more thing. Go back to, you want to go back to Chatfuel. We forgot a couple datas.
And this one here?
You need the same dude's name and dude's email.
That's necessary to send the data out there. Okay.
So now you just got to go, now you got to go to that catch hook. Test this step, retest it. Go back to Chatfuel or go back to Facebook. Okay, now you got everything you need. Now you're good. Now go all the way down to the bottom and go back to Invoicing You app.
Dude, do you still have people working right now at this hour?
Yeah, they never leave, man. I like, we're literally a 24/7 shop, so yeah, you know, we don't have a set time that people have to come into work because we're such an awesome company. You can come into work anytime that you want as long as you work 9 hours. So you want to come in at 10 o'clock in the morning, you want to come in at 10 o'clock at night. We don't care as long as once you get here, you stay for 9 hours.
I love it. All right, so we're here on Invoicing You, and we're almost, I can smell the finish line.
So we don't need a subscription. We just need to pop in dude's name there.
Oops.
For memo, we're going to put in the data from step 2. We're going to put in that output. For email, we're going to put in email. For item here, we're just going to put in nothing. We're going to put in a static value, your order, or whatever you want there. Price is going to be from step 3. Tax rate 0. USD probably. Messenger ID, if you didn't guess it.
Boom. Okay. So this is going to be the invoice. All right. There we go. And will this create a general invoice or product invoice?
General invoice, definitely general invoice. Not done yet. Another step, bro.
Okay. Now this one's going to be 11. Oh. What's the next step?
Back to Chatfuel.
Yep. Okay.
Create a new block called catch cart invoice.
Catch cart. Can I know catch is a developer term, but like that's essentially the send one, right? Like this block?
Yeah, you can call it send cart invoice, sure.
Yeah. And this one would need a Zapier card. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you want me to do the training or not, man, because it seems like you know exactly what to do, bro. What do you need me for?
I don't know shit. I'm guessing, and I'm.
You're totally right. You want to populate that data. You want to populate that card now as that Chatfuel Facebook.
Right in here. So then this step, should this be a
Chatfuel Facebook?
Okay, I see. All right, so we still need to populate the cards. I got it. And we need to do a new one here. Okay. So this is going to be it. My goal of this, John, is to ask all the questions now, and then you don't ever have to answer any of them. That's the goal. So let's do that. And then we'll go back here, and then that's the Chatfuel for Facebook. And this is the 413 live stream test send cart. Okay, let's save that. And then now we're gonna populate the card for it. So let's do this. So here's your invoice.
I definitely put dude's name there. Put like Hector. Here's your invoice.
Okay, I like that because we have that data. Okay, click the button below.
No. Here I give them. You know how much the total is, right? So. Here you could say, hey, your order total is only $50, you know, click the buy now button to pay or something.
So then I'd go in here and get that value, which is here. To finalize payment. Okay.
Image URL is going to be step 4, the URL coming back from invoicing you.
That is here. Okay.
Your button, create a, give that as a card URL too. That way, anywhere they click, they're going to pay. Give it as an image URL, give it as a card URL. That way, anywhere they click, they're paying.
Image URL, so we'll do that here. Card URL, we'll do here, and then you can do
pay now.
Pay, and then you can do okay. Button. All right.
Now continue. Add another step. go back to Facebook. Sorry, not Facebook. Yeah, and then just change that from all updates to only last update.
Okay. What is this? What can you? I don't know the differentiation here.
Yeah, there's a big differentiation here. If you leave it as all updates, when the user gets to this block, they will see not only their invoice, but all the previous invoices that have happened, up to 8.
Right. Okay. So obviously we only want the last one. Okay.
So now what you want to do, since you're already in Chatfuel, is just grab whatever information you need from the Chatfuel broadcast API, because that's gonna be your next step in Zapier, is do the broadcast API.
Oh, shit. Okay. Nope, that's not the one I want. So
that's going to be webhooks, and that's going to be a post hook.
I'm going to put that in there. Bot ID. I don't know why they fucking make it all crazy. Okay. So we're going to fill that in there. User ID. This is going to come from the hook originally. Send the Chatfuel token is going to come.
You totally passed it right there.
Right there. And then that. Can I grab that from? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Just put it in here. I guess I didn't use a custom field last time. So that's that. We're going to put that block name. So this is the name of the block.
Yeah, get rid of everything else. You don't need everything else. You do need the equal sign, but you don't need anything else.
Okay. This is the block that we're going to send them here. So send card. That's this one, right?
Correct. You want the name, not the ID.
Oh, shit.
Just keep in mind that the Chatfuel broadcast API has 2 different APIs. One, you have to send the block name. One, you have to send the block ID.
They're different, or are they just?
Yeah, one's the value from the URL. The ID is the value from the URL. Block ID is that value you were copying from the URL. The block name is the actual block name.
Got it. Okay, so let's see. Send token, block name, user. Looks good. This always goes to JSON. Rest of the stuff is
Finished.
It's good. Let's send that test. And I already got a message. Here it is. Okay. If I click that, it'll take me there. Test to test. 40 unit price. Your items, margaritas, new shoes. Awesome shit. Okay.
And you can see how we could spend a little bit more time in Zapier, and we could break we could break those items down to show the unit price and the total price, right? If we wanted to get even more fancy.
Okay, so we've got this, and I mean that's it. I mean we can show. I don't think that it's necessary to show the last part of it because we've been going for almost 2 fucking hours here. But now this is how you can create and deliver an invoice, and maybe I'm pretty sure I know how to do the other aspects of it. Or tomorrow maybe we can show you how to.
Yeah, because we really just got one more aspect, which is another Zap, which is fetch the general invoice. When the dude pays the general invoice, we want to send them a confirmation of payment.
So then, okay, so that actually probably isn't that challenging, right?
That's pretty hard. I mean, that's pretty easy, yeah.
Yeah. So we'd go in here to invoicing you. That would be the trigger, right?
A general invoice, whenever a general invoice, because that's what we created.
General invoice, okay. Create a general invoice. We do that. Oh, that looks like a different one. Well, and this, do we add a filter at the beginning, or would it be a filter?
You don't have to do any, well, I mean, you don't have to do anything here. You don't have to do anything here, essentially. You can add a filter that just checks to see if there's an actual messenger ID. If there's a ManyChat ID that's populated, you can add that filter.
But essentially, it'll just grab, as this happens, it'll grab the that info and then deliver it to. Okay, so the invoicing you, and what does that talk to? Does that talk to a webhook?
That talks to webhook, and you can just have a block in Chatfuel, thanks for your payment, and you can just broadcast out that block to them.
So then in here it would be
payment received.
Okay, payment received, boom. All right, so then over here, test was successful.
This is the wrong one.
This is the last one we did. So let me name this. This is 413 stream cart send. Turn that bad boy on. All right. Let's go. Shit. All right, let's just do it again. All right. So general invoice, and then this is a fucking Zapier training more than anything, huh? Let's see. Okay, continue. All right. So then now this is a webhook. And then we're going to post this. And then we're going to grab that. And this is just the broadcast API one here. Right. Bot ID. We go all the way to the E. Yeah. Shit. You coders are crazy. Bot ID, user ID. Let's take that all the way to there. Let's throw that in. Oh, so it would need. So what?
User
we would need.
User ID is coming from invoicing you.
It would be the ManyChat ID, right? Or it would
right.
be. Yeah, the. Because that's actually a. Got it. Okay, and then we got this, and then the JSON and all that.
And that's it.
Yeah, I need to go in and put my blocks in here. But that's it, right? I go in and throw in my Chatfuel token.
You're done.
This, and I would say you've paid. And then I would just grab this information and throw that onto the Zap, right?
Yeah, so essentially we build a shopping cart. Now users can add stuff to their cart as much as they want. Whenever they want to check out, they can check out. We create the custom invoice for them. We send it back to them. They go in and pay. As soon as they go in and actually pay, then they get notified back into the bot again, you know, thanks for your payment.
I dig it. You know, guys, it seems like a lot of steps, but I think the real great thing is that it's a series of steps that you'll take over and over again. As well, so it's not something that you know, like once you get the recipe, it's pretty simple after that. Send Chatfuel token, Chatfuel block name. Okay, cool. So I walked through this, and it took me 2 hours to get through this, but essentially so that you guys will be able to integrate some of this stuff in there as well. And it looks like the Chatfuel, I probably screwed up something there, but anyways. So this was awesome. We went over how to create. Let me actually go through and kind of show everything that we did. Right, we showed how to create a cart, how to actually send that information to Zapier, store it there, create an invoice, and then actually send that invoice back to them. And then we'll probably do tomorrow or another day on how to actually send that follow up. So thanks, John, for obviously donating your time, dude. I appreciate this a ton. I'm going to hop over and see if there's any questions that we have. But John, you can take off, man, it's late as hell for you. But if there's anything else you wanted to make sure that we covered today, now's the time probably before we get out of here. Guys, if you guys have any questions, throw them down there. I'm going to see if I can check the video here, see if we have any. Kevin says, can you create another line item price with method 2? I'm not quite sure. I mean, the great thing is you can change all of this stuff is the beauty of it. So yes, definitely, Kevin, the answer to your question is yes. I'm not sure which method you're necessarily talking about, but all of these things are dynamic so that you can create multiple steps and you can add multiple products. So if they want to add that cart and then they can go back and start shopping again, then they can re-add all that stuff to their cart as well. That's it, dude. Anything else, Sean?
Or I think we covered a lot, man. And yeah, like I said, bro, we're not done yet, man. I mean, you want to
tip of the iceberg, man.
I mean, you want to sell literally. You can now in your bot. I can show you how you can set up a complete affiliate model where you get users into your bot. You give those users an affiliate link. They drive users back into your bot. Those users buy something. You get some money, and the affiliate gets some recognition. They get some brownie points. They get some credit. They get some commission. They get some money. All powered by invoicing you. You can't do that with the mini chat payment integration. You can't do. You can't do that with the Chatfuel payment integration. The only thing you can do with those two payment integrations is a really static price. I mean, you can't do a cart. You definitely can't do a cart. You can't do dynamic pricing, anything like that. You can only do real static prices. So.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, we're going to call it. We're going to get out of here. So, John, have an amazing evening, dude. Get some sleep. I know you don't do it often, but
I will, man.
We'll talk later. Peace, guys.
All right. See you on the next one, bro.